Welcome back, Archer athletes. Today's training session theme is posture, with a focus on proper core alignment and eliminating hollow back. Hollow back is the term we use to describe the arching of the back right through here. So you might see the chest rise and the butt stick out a little bit, and this arch forms in the lower back, the lumbar region of the back. That's called a hollow back, not desirable. Poor string clearance, weak shots, lack of balance, high draw elbow are just a few of the negative side effects that you can see if someone has a hollow back. Elements of software that you'll need to be successful today: attention and focus, as always, because those are key to having a good deep practice. Intensity control, breathing, because our breath cycle is partly what helps us get into the proper posture position during set position. Finally, I want everyone to take a walk over to their self-image right now and make sure that switch for growth mindset is flipped on. 2 goals for today. Number 1, achieve proper posture at set position. Number 2, maintain that posture throughout the end of follow-through. Today's training session will flow like this. I'm going to outline what proper posture is and what core alignment wants to look like and feel like. Then I'll guide you through 3 warm-ups, followed by a 2-part progression structured to help you experience what rock-solid posture really feels like. As we dive into posture, I want to clarify the difference between how I use the terms stance and posture. I use the term stance to describe where the feet are positioned on the ground, and posture is the term I use to describe the positioning of the rest of your body: your knees, your pelvis, your torso, arms, shoulders, and head. Posture begins during stance, when you take your place at the line, and then continues to be built and is finalized during set position. The deep inhale, exhale that we take in set position helps facilitate finding proper posture, and we've covered that in previous videos. This particular training session doesn't get into the details of where your arms should be exactly or where your head should be exactly for set position. It's really going to focus on the core alignment. So what are we going to be doing with our pelvis? What are we going to be doing with our torso? In addition, I've also assumed that anyone watching this particular session already is proficient at an open stance and knows what an open stance is. If you're not, check out my video on open stance or look at this diagram to make sure that we're on the same page moving forward with this training video. It's time to begin focusing on our core alignment, starting with our pelvis. I want you to take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to rock your pelvis underneath you as if you were tucking your tail between the legs, and at the same time engage your core. As you do that, as you engage your core, you're going to feel your chest and your ribs get drawn downwards towards your belly button. And as you rock your pelvis underneath you, you're going to feel your gluteal muscles back here engage, contract firmly. This sensation that you have of getting shorter, you want to maintain that posture throughout the entire rest of the shot. So in a way, we're changing our posture in 2 different dimensions. There's a vertical force that you're applying by engaging your core. That's drawing your chest and ribs down. And then there's also this horizontal force that you're applying by rotating your pelvis this way. You need to maintain this force with the rotation of your pelvis and maintain this vertical force locking your ribs and chest down. Set that in set position and then maintain that, manage those forces throughout the entire rest of the shot. The glute bridge works on core muscles of the lower abdomen and the glutes on the back of the hips. Start with feet hip width apart and place the soles of your feet flat on the ground, knees up. Hands will be by your side, palms down. You will not be using your hands or arms for this warm-up. First, tilt your pelvis so that you are flattening the hollow of your lower back, as if you were grabbing the towel, the cue we use for stance with some of our athletes. Lift your hips first off the ground towards the sky and let the lower back follow. Hold the posture at the top of the raise and engage the glutes firmly for about 5 seconds before relaxing them and lowering them down in a controlled manner. Repeat as many reps as prescribed. Do not push on the ground through your hands. The banded twist. Attach a long stretch band to an anchor point at about shoulder height. Adopt the same stance you would for archery. Open stance with inside of heels plumb with outside of shoulders. Make sure to tilt your pelvis and engage the glutes. Stand at a distance away from the band's anchor point that there's an optimal amount of tension, starting tension, on the band for you. Raise the draw side arm as if it was following the bow arm up during the raising of the bow. Now coil around your spine with your torso and hold that position for 5 seconds before relaxing down and repeating. This is an excellent warm-up that builds strength in the larger core muscles needed to do the work to the bow when establishing barrel of the gun. Make sure you really squeeze your glutes because you don't want your hips rotating with your torso. Perform 8 reps per side, take a 30-second break, and then perform 8 more reps per side. Cat and cow poses. Come to a hands and knees position with your shoulders over the wrists and knees under the hips. Cow position is first. Inhale as your belly button is drawn towards the floor and the shoulders come back towards the hips. Bring your gaze towards the sky. Exhale as you go into cat. Push your belly button towards the ceiling through your back, turning yourself into the shape of a cat that is arching its back. Allow your head to curve down so that you can look at your belly button. Complete 12 repetitions of cat and cow, trying to increase your range of movement a little more each time. The crush the towel progression will take about 20 or 25 minutes and is designed to help athletes learn how to rotate their pelvis underneath their body while engaging their core for the purpose of locking down the chest and rib cage. Now, this is a multi-step progression, and it's going to begin by you finding a sticker or a piece of tape and placing it right in the middle of your lumbar spine here on the outside of the shirt. You're going to place that there for a cue that we'll be using later on. Step 1 of the crush the towel progression starts with you laying on the ground with your feet flat on the ground, knees bent. Place one hand under your lumbar spine area, your lower back, and feel that hollow that is present. You should be able to slide your hand into the hollow area pretty easily. Now, take a lightweight towel or t-shirt and loosely manipulate it into a long section of fabric. Do not roll it. The roll will become too thick and it'll make it hard for you to do this activity. Thread the fabric underneath through the hollow of your lower back so that you have an equal lengths of towel extending to the left and right sides of your body. Grab either side of that towel and work with a partner or solo and floss the towel back and forth through that hollow a few times just to give you a sensation that that towel can move freely through that hollow space. Now, take a deep inhale as you would in set position, as you're lying there on the ground, and allow the exhale to facilitate your pushing the sticker that's on your lower back through the towel to try to get the sticker to touch the floor. As long as you are pushing the sticker to the floor, the towel should be impossible to slide back and forth now. You're crushing the towel, all right? This is where the activity gets its name, crush the towel. Push the sticker to the floor for 8 full seconds, holding that contraction before resting for 8 full seconds. During those 8 seconds of contraction, breathe with the diaphragm, not from the chest. We want to mimic proper breathing mechanics during this drill. As you crush the towel, you should feel your glutes and abs, your core, engage firmly. Imprint what this feels like because you'll need to replicate this sensation in the next portion, the next step of this activity when we stand up. Repeat this cycle of crushing the towel and then relaxing for 8 seconds on, 8 seconds off, 5 times. Step 2 of crush the towel, stand up and place your back against a wall. Your heels will be out away from the base of the wall by a few inches. Find the hollow behind your back with your hands and then thread the towel through the hollow with equal parts sticking out on the left and right sides of your body. Just like we just did on the floor, but now you're standing up. Again, inhale deeply, and as you deflate through the front of your torso, exhale, push the sticker through the towel to the wall. Hold that contraction for 8 seconds, and then relax. Repeat that cycle 5 times, making sure you apply the exhale to initiate the crushing of the towel, and then continue to breathe with the diaphragm throughout the 8 seconds. An important note is that you're going to feel your shoulders and head come off the wall and round forward as you crush the towel, as you push the sticker through the towel to the wall. Allow that to happen. Allow your head and shoulders to come forward naturally off the wall as you crush that towel. All right? Take time to imprint what this movement feels like, because you're going to need to be really proficient at that and holding that contraction as we move on to the next step of this progression. Step 3 of crush the towel, grab a stretch band and a mirror, and you're going to apply the shot cycle using an open stance with a band facing the mirror. Use the breath cycle during set to facilitate finding proper posture, and you're going to do 5 minutes of focus. So deep practice for 5 minutes where you are tuning in deeply to what the movements feel like when you are following the crush the towel cue correctly. Imprint these movements and feelings during these 5 minutes so that you're ready to move on to the next phase. Now here's the standard that I want you to apply to this particular step in the crush the towel progression. If you see your chest rising or the hollow of your back form, all right, during any portion of these 5 minutes, stop and slow down the movements until you're successful, until you've successfully locked that chest back down and tucked that pelvis back under. You'll need a bow and a mirror for step 4 of crush the towel. We'll be applying your new awareness of posture now to finally using a bow, but in front of a mirror, no arrows. Remember to use the breath during set to facilitate finding that initial finding of proper posture. And you'll be doing this for 5 minutes, because it's, again, 5 minutes of focus where you engage in deep practice. I want you to imprint these movements and feelings, and that's going to take attention and focus. You need to have deep practice here. Standards. If you see your chest rise or the hollow form in your lower back, stop, slow the movements down, and go back to an earlier part of the shot cycle or to the stretch band or the wall or floor if you need to revisit what the proper movements feel like. Don't allow yourself to keep going if you're not being successful time and time and time again. Describe your experience feeling proper posture. How would you describe it? And 2, when you're correctly crushing the towel during set position and then you go into set up, how does the raising of the bow feel different? Part 2 of your training sessions today is called Foundations. The format is going to be MDESA 6, and I think this is going to take you about 45 to 60 minutes. So MDESA stands for multiple distance every second arrow, and the 6 indicates the total number of arrows that you're going to shoot in an end. MDESA 6 therefore communicates that you will shoot 2 arrows at one distance, move, shoot 2 arrows at a second distance, move, and shoot your final 2 arrows at a third distance before you go ahead and retrieve. Do this for 45 to 60 minutes, focused on 2 specific goals. 1, achieve the same stance each time you move your feet. Use a paw pad if you want to be sure. 2, achieve proper posture in set position, and then maintain that posture, that flat profile with your back, weight towards the balls of the feet, in every single shot. The assessment tool you'll use to help measure your progress in this particular progression is one of my favorites, and I call it Get the Point. So you'll need 2 small containers. One of the containers will be full of small objects. Maybe they're knocks, points, cute little rocks, cranberries, marbles. You get the point. We are going to be using, in this case, actual target points right here. And so this container is filled with 50 to 100 points, and then this container's empty. So after every 2 shots, assess your performance with posture, and then walk over to where these are. So I'm going to put these on a table near the shooting line. You'll walk over to the table, and if you performed 2 shots where you know your posture was spot on, you know it was, well then you take 2 points and you put it here. And then you go shoot 2 more arrows. And then maybe out of those 2 arrows, only one of them had proper posture and the other one you could feel your chest rise. Well, then come back over after shooting those 2 arrows and take out 1 point and add it here. All right? And then go shoot your final 2 arrows before retrieving. And maybe on that one, maybe you also shot 2 arrows with perfect posture. And you could feel it. You, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know you had good posture. Take 2 points out of the container and add them to your point pile. If you finish your shots, 2 shots, and you walk over to the point pile and you're like, you know, I'm not actually sure how my posture was. Well, don't give yourself any points, all right? Part of this is I want you to be able to know after you shoot the arrow that you had proper posture. You need to tune in. You need to have attention. You need to have focus on that. That's the purpose of this activity. You might be wondering, well, how will I know if I have proper posture? Well, the lead up, the progressions that we did leading up to this were focused on giving you an opportunity to have deep practice, to really imprint the sensation that you get when you make the proper movements. And you had feedback with the mirrors. So if you're still not sure, go back to the mirror, check it out, and try to imprint that sensation. Thanks for joining me for this training session. I hope you learned something. If you did, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button and add some comments at the bottom of the video. See you next time.